Welcome to Thrones and Scones. It's your weekday morning podcast where we talk Game of Thrones over. My voice is still a little tired. It's Tony, Hans, and Jeremy in with you for Friday, hitting Season 2, Episode 10, rounding out yet another season, and tackling mini cranberry orange scones. Welcome, friends, to the end of our week, to the end of another season. Season 2, we've had some ups, some downs, but ending with Valar Morghulis. Thoughts? Hi. Not on the show. We'll get to that. Thoughts on the Friday?
I think it's Friday, right? Dealing with this fucking crazy weather.
It's so cold here.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I think it was like 4 degrees when I got up this morning. Just craziness. But
it's a bunch of horse shit. All the snow basically went away from our forecast, and then the temperature just tanked. And it's been awful. But thankfully, this episode is making up for it. It's a pretty good one. I got the wiki here pulled up. For once in my life, I'm kind of ready to go with this. Would you guys like to hear what happens in Season 2, Episode 10? Because, I don't know, maybe you didn't watch it.
Yeah, catch me up.
Hit me with
All right. It's one of these wikis that's kind of choppy, so I'm going to do my best to make it interesting and fail miserably. Tyrion awakens to a changed situation. King Joffrey doles out rewards to his subjects. As Theon stirs his men to action, Luwin offers some final advice. Cryptic. Brienne silences Jaime. Arya receives a gift from Jaqen, and Dany goes to a strange place. Jon proves himself to Corin. Big episode. Another one of those where we're kind of like, oh yeah, there's still a lot more that happens in this season that I forget didn't already happen, or they really have been making up thus far at the end of these seasons with like crazy plot, not only twists but big wrap-ups, and they get away with doing a lot but not making it feel like they just rushed into it.
Yeah, but I don't think this one felt like a finale. I mean, just like last season, right? So episode 9 in both seasons felt bigger to me.
Especially because Blackwater was so massive and so like incredible and epic. This is a very different tone. Mm-hmm. This was, I thought, better than Season 1, Episode 10 in the sense that it's not just setting up for next season. We do at least get a couple moments that feel pretty final for the moment. Rounding out a couple stories. I thought it was good overall. I liked it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good as well. It definitely, to me, feels in contrast to the Season 1, Episode 10, or the Season 1 finale. This one feels just kind of more like a bridge to Season 3, because even Season 3 to me feels much more like an extension of Season 2, whereas Season 2 felt like, almost new storylines, bunch of new characters are kind of coming in, and you get a little bit of that with Season 3, but I just feel like a lot of the things that started Season 2 we haven't really resolved yet, kind of the end of Season 1, like Joffrey becoming king and all that stuff. So that part of it is for better or for worse, Now, Hans, makes it a smoother transition into Season 3 and maybe a stronger finale. But I agree with Jeremy as well, where it just doesn't, there's not a lot of things that really end. You're just kind of, trucking.
Yeah. You were kind of meh about Season 2, I think, the most out of any of us. Did the last couple episodes kind of change that for you? Or do you think that this season fell a little bit short of what it could have done?
Yeah, it's hard to say, because like I said last episode, I think Episode 9 from Season 2 is my favorite episode yet. Just awesome. I think it's pretty clear that at this point, at least, Game of Thrones has a pretty strong formula that they stick to as far as, where they pinnacle their seasons and stuff. And but yeah, I think these episodes rounded out Season 2 for me. I still think that it took a little bit long to get where we're going. I think Karth could have been a friggin' 2-episode thing. I think Dany's story is moving a little slow. I think the North story, Beyond the Wall, has moved a little slow. And I definitely don't think the last couple episodes has made up for that by any means.
Yeah.
But it's hard to say the season's bad when you got a friggin' kick-ass episode like the Episode 9 was. So
for sure. Well, closing out here, episode 10, lots of things wrapping up, and a twist a little bit. Joffrey throwing Sansa to the wind. She's excited and then nervous with words from the ever-encouraging Littlefinger, who makes her realize that, hey, well, maybe this isn't all it's cracked up to be. But, hey, at least she doesn't have to marry him no mo.
Yeah, I thought that actually was done really well, just explaining the situation. I mean, they commented earlier in the season how does Marjorie marry to Renly? Like, well, how does that work? And someone's like, oh yeah, well, it's because she wants to be a queen. And I was like, oh man, does that really portray really well in this show so far? I didn't think you get that conniving, kind of like, I want this is what I want, conceiving. I mean, she's going to be, she wants to conceive. I mean,
she would love to conceive.
She would love, she'd put a demon, no. But definitely with her here, you really get that she's making a play, and it's fairly strong.
I'm just thinking ahead and realizing that she tries several times to really become queen and to conceive an heir, and really the only time she ever even gets to attempt is with the kid who's currently like 9.
She does a good job.
It's a good thing that they switched actors for Tom and Baratheon. Let's just go ahead and there'd be some legal issues there for sure. Anyway, getting very.
And and also, I mean, we see Tyrion, who is, I think, in season 2, really becomes an enjoyable character to watch. Like he's growing into, like, you actually can see that he's a Lannister in the sense that you get the power, and like he likes it. He's enjoying his role. And then, just like a bitch, it just gets taken all away from him. And then, like, he's just like, wait, nope. I get reminded, now my dad's here. My dad hates me. My family hates me. I am not appreciated. And yeah, I saved all of them. And I think you almost see, like, this, like, shame and depression in this moment. It was like, fuck, I should have just let them all die.
Yeah, it's such a powerful, and at the same time, he's, like, recovering from this near mortal injury, trying to figure out who caused it and what happened and what's going on with this. I will say, it just kind of looks like a badass scar. And in the books, he loses his nose. Yeah. And I think Cersei even makes a reference to it in next episode or something, where she's like, oh, people were saying you lost your nose. You look fine. But yeah, it's his nose straight up gets cut off, and like half of his face is like all wrecked. And they really toned it down for the screen.
Probably for good, right? I think
yeah.
They want to keep Tyrion our golden boy.
And plus, I mean, maybe they were learning preemptively from Superman that CGIing away a body part is trickier than you might imagine.
Yeah.
Who's to say? But no, there's some good moments there. We get Pycelle kind of being our first opener, waking up Tyrion, being all smug, just being an asshole. But guys, Hans talked about it a couple episodes. This is another thing where I think we're realizing that no, Ferris does not have a dick. Because he's in with Roz, which is our only good, bad, and juggly moment as well. Roz reveals her titties, which we have come to become very acquainted with over the past couple seasons. And then she puts him away, and she's like, oh, I know what men want. And she reaches down, and she goes, oh, I know who you are. Like she recognizes immediately. And I feel like I'm not going to say never because I've had a couple drunk nights, but I'm going to say probably never have I just reached over and grabbed a clothed man's groin to try and see what was up. And like, I feel like if there was just a dick, it would take me a little while to realize. And she realized pretty quick that something was up.
She was like just barely into the inner thigh and was like, whoa. Yeah. Well, this is hollow.
So I think there must be nothing there.
I agree. Unless in this world, rocking
horse penises are common.
Unless the ball forward trend is so popular that maybe she was just offended that he wasn't rocking that.
That could be. She's
a good sir. You're
that's
not
a great
your
point.
Balls forward. How might I find them? Do tell.
No, but I agree. I think that's got to be proof, right? Because there's no way she would have had that much concern
Yeah, because there's got to be people out there without balls. She's a prostitute. She's seen lots of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like Littlefinger is willing to provide all kinds of entertainment for all of his guests. So
Great point, Jeremy.
This cannot be a new thing for her.
There's a lot of kind of cool moments. I'm trying to just go down what happens in order here. Oh, we get this moment on the road with Brienne and Jaime. We kind of get to see them traveling a bit, and they get found out. Brienne has to confront a few Stark men, and does so in a very badass fashion.
Yeah.
Gets a little blood crazed going on there at the end, running a sword basically up through a guy's body, groin first, as she just stares into his eyes, and she's like, 2 slow deaths. It's creepy.
Yeah, what was the offense that led to that? I mean, I know like they recognized him. Was that it? Is that what it led to? I don't remember.
Yeah, they recognized who it was.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. And then kind of going over to, since we're talking Starks, Robb Stark gets married in this episode, and his mom wants him not to do it. I kind of forgot about this conversation. I kind of thought he went and did it in secret. No, he obviously went to his mom with it. They talked about it. She said don't, and he kind of ends up dismissing her because of what she did. So you gotta wonder, if she didn't release Jaime, would things have gone differently? Like, because he wouldn't have been able to just blow her off so easily. Would he have had to actually come to terms with what he was doing and what it meant? Or was he just able to kind of get that out that only a 16-year-old would immediately jump to, where it's like, oh, you're going to give me advice after what you just did to derail everything I've been working for? Get out of here. I think this could have been a very different thing.
Yeah, I don't think she realizes. I think she comments a little severe, like what's at risk in these things. And again, Game of Thrones repeatedly shows you love never works, right? You can never get married for love. If you do, you're not playing the game right, and you're gonna lose.
Preach, Jeremy, preach.
Preach.
You can never get married for love.
Don't ever
says
do
the
it.
married man of the podcast.
Says the man married to my sister.
What a wonderful, wonderful marriage this is.
Giving us some love tips in this episode is Stannis and Melisandre, showing us that choking can be fun. Oh, that scene is intense.
Melisandre in this episode, I think, again, is this where she talks to Davos of like, essentially, if I was there, I would have protected, I would have prevented this whole disaster from happening in the first place as well. I'm pretty sure that was part of the conversation.
Well, she doesn't say it to Davos because he's not there, but yeah, she's telling Stannis.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I didn't even write
My
that part
cat's
down. I
eating it.
totally overlooked that part. I do remember the choking.
How could
I
you
think
not?
the reason I was so distracted at this scene is, and I'm sure I probably just missed it. How did Stannis get out of King's Landing? He was up on that wall. Like he was pretty deep in. I don't get how he got out of there.
They did not say.
So
He just kind of turned tail and ran, and it doesn't never explained how he was able to get back out to his ships in Bale. But
yeah, because you're telling me so Tywin and Loras come in with what had to be a pretty massive army, right? And somehow Stannis snuck out to his little canoe, his little rowboat, and rowed back to his big ship without getting caught. I don't know. I don't get it.
Or set on fire because the lake was still basically burning.
Yeah. So that part I have an issue with, but
Something we haven't touched about, but one of my favorite parts again, Jaqen's back in the show, which is great. Yeah, I mean, we haven't heard of the Faceless Men. I think initially mentioned episode 2 or 3 with the whole was it with Theon, right? Like, no wait, must have been
I think the only time that it's ever mentioned is when Jaqen says to be a dancing master is a special thing, but to be a faceless man, something else entirely. I think that's the only mention we've had of it thus far.
Oh, so the woman doesn't say I've seen a man change their faces?
Oh, you're right. Someone does say that.
Yeah, and I thought
I don't remember who it is.
Was it it was a prostitute, right? Who says you haven't seen the world? This is with Theon. I'm pretty sure they're having a conversation about something. He's like, you haven't seen much. And she's like, I've seen men change their faces.
You might be right.
Yeah, it's a while ago. Anyway, so we get that, and that's the kind of now he kind of brings it up and says, "I am one of those men."
Yeah.
And then, ta-da! His face changes.
Proves it.
It's
And for the worse too.
Oh God!
Yeah.
I know, right?
Was that the chick that was with Viserys too? Is
Yes.
that the chick you're talking about? That
Yes,
says
yes.
Yeah,
Dorea.
Yeah.
Dorea.
I do remember that.
Oh yeah, because that was the whole I want to see. Okay, yeah, I know.
Yeah, because she wanted to see a dragon.
Wanted to see a dragon.
And,
Okay, so
and then he
wasn't
calls her stupid.
stupid and you're something. But no, so that was an awesome thing. He comes again in a very kind of like stalkerish ways. Like he's just there, and just like kind of watching over them. And, I mean, you almost get like an ominous tone to that part of the scene. It's like, well, is he gonna do something? Because he's pissed off that he had to do that in the first place because she kept breaking rules, and so there is really no clear reason why he's helping her right now either. So I thought that was kind of cool.
He likes her.
Yeah.
I think Arya's got such charisma at this point. Like everyone falls for her.
Yeah.
Like in a cool way.
Offers her the coin.
Yeah.
Such a badass scene.
But okay, so I understand that if to get help, he says, you can say this Valar Morghulis in Bravos, anyone in Bravos, and then he'll help her out. Couldn't he have picked something a little easier to say? Like if this say it's a couple years later, this chick's not gonna remember how to pronounce this or say this term that she's never gonna use ever again in her life.
Like how specific do I have to be when I'm in Bravos? Can I just say flying jacket?
I kind of think like there's the opposite problem too. We find out it might be next season or the season after when we start to kind of go to Bravos and see more around there. That's just the greeting. Like instead of hi, someone says Valar Morghulis and the other person says Valar Dohaeris. So the only difference is that you have to have the coin. But it's like they could have come up with a different code word than just like imagine.
That's got to be very confusing.
Imagine like you've got a document. Something. Yeah, you got this document like from the CIA, and they're like, all right, you're going to go up to our contact, you're going to hand it to him, and you're going to go, good evening. And then they'll know.
And they're going to say back to you, good day.
Yeah. Exactly, it's baller. What is society as well when you open every conversation with, all men must die? It's really setting the tone in a proper way.
Yeah, I just think I don't know. It's a cool scene. Again, Arya's story is one of those that's just very interesting, and I counter that to the wall, which I actually agree with what Hans was saying. Like, it's so slow right now, and I'm like, and yeah, Arya's getting I think just as much kind of like screen time, and yet you find her character development so much more interesting right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, let's jump ahead since we're talking the wall. It's my least favorite moment of the episode. I mean, it's the moment itself is dope. We get to see the army of the dead, as we've already established. And I looked up a map because I was like, maybe they're farther north than I think right now. They're really not. I don't understand the geography of where the White Walkers are. I think that's a big plot hole. But the Night's Watch comes across them. They're marching in full force, and they turn to, and acknowledge Samwell Tarly, and then just leave him alive for like dramatic effect. When we find out in the next episode, like every body he comes across has been wrecked by these guys. I don't get it. Why?
I don't get it either. That was my least favorite part because of just the myriad of plot holes that go along with this scene. Again, what are the White Walkers have mercy now? Apparently, like why? And they obviously, if they kill the guy, they could have a fresh body, or maybe they're just not interested. They don't think he's be worth fighting. He's maybe not a good fighter. I don't know, but I don't get why they leave him alive. Second, I don't. So the Rangers just went out north, and Jon Snow is obviously pretty far out there. There's the wildlings out there. But apparently this giant army of the dead just walked by all these people and are much closer to the wall. I don't get it.
Right. And the wildlings are supposedly running from that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's very confusing. Like, I think this is a detachment. I don't think this is the full army, but then why? And also, we see more than one White Walker when I think going forward, we see the one that, like, Sam comes toe-to-toe with. But then other than that, they're all kind of together. So I don't know.
Yeah, it was just an odd part of it. And John and Corin.
I honestly...
Oh, yeah, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that... I mean, that's what happens as well, right? The whole insulting and then killing Corin, which... I don't remember this in the book if it happened the same way.
I think it does.
It does?
To my memory, it does.
For some reason, I was sort of just thinking it was different, or if it happened at the camp itself and not further out.
It might do, yeah. But the kind of the trajectory is the same.
Yeah, but I thought they got there and there was more kind of like...
Could be.
Plotting with that kind of thing. But anyway, still a cool scene.
Yeah.
John's kind of a badass with the sword.
Yeah, pretty badass. Hard to say. I mean, you think Corin was fighting to win that fight, though? You know,
No.
I mean, he was obviously good. He obviously knew he had to go down. I feel like even then, though, the wildlings were pretty quick to just be like, all right, this guy's a good guy. Cuts his chains off. Or cuts his rope off.
When an episode prior... Corin like pushed John and Rattleshirt was like, he's not yours to kill. Yeah. And then in an episode we've changed our minds. I don't know about that. To go slightly south to hit Winterfell, we get lots of mixed emotions with Winterfell right now. Theon is under siege and he deserves it. Theon gets betrayed by his own men and he deserves it. And then Winterfell gets wrecked anyway.
Yeah, I don't get the whole, like, why set it on fire? It's already, been sieged and the people are already upset. I don't get the whole burning it down. With, what's his name? Is it the Greyjoy's family? No. Who's the one who's there sieging
It's Ramsay Bolton.
Ramsay
Snow right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make that much sense because down the road... they're going to occupy it, and they're going to spend their whole time building it back up.
So why? And it's not like Theon has how many people there? 20 men?
Yeah. Well, I guess the implication is, and they get into this in season 3, is they're pretending that the Ironborn did that and then escaped so that they can cover up basically everything, so that they can kill everyone, leave the city unguarded, untended, and then to kind of position themselves, it's kind of the Boltons already making their first step of this very long game. But at the moment, it does seem very disjointed. Yeah. It's a bummer. And poor Lewin, rest in peace.
Did that stuff
happen? A long time.
Did I totally miss that? Did the Bolton stuff happen in episode 10?
It just started, yeah.
We don't see any Bolton stuff, but we know from Rob's conversation that it's Ramsay sieging the Winterfell, yeah.
Gotcha.
And then really the only thing we haven't touched on is finally, it's my favorite part of the episode just because we've been waiting for it all season. Something happens in Karth. It's so crazy. Dany basically gets to the bottom of this. She goes through these crazy visions, which there's all sorts of conspiracies about what it means or doesn't mean. She gets to the end. She burns the warlock alive. She gets out. She seals Zaro up in his own empty-ass vault. And then, she's kind of pillaging, and she's like, all right, let's take this stuff and buy a ship. The one thing I don't get about it is, are they trying to imply that, like, he just has all this stuff and then is pretending to have more? Or the way that they say it, she's like, oh, it was all a lie. And Jorah's like, looks real enough to me. Is it counterfeit? Or is it just, that's all there is? What do you think that they're implying?
I didn't really get that because, so I get that this guy could maybe fool some people and stuff, but how did he live where he lived? How did he get the position of power he got if he doesn't have any money? Whether he's trying to look the part or not. It just seems weird that he had nothing, like and got where he got, and who knows? I don't know. I didn't get it.
I guess I'm kind of thinking like my only explanation is he's like he's the MC Hammer of Westeros, where it's like, oh yeah, if you see him in public, you're gonna be like, damn, that dude is rich, but then he spent all his money looking like he was rich, and now he's not rich.
Yeah, it's maybe a good point.
And now who's running Karth, right? I mean, we had 13, 11 dead, 2 left dead. So I mean, that's just kind of left undone, right? Just left unsaid.
I'm gonna assume.
Quaithe?
Yeah, it's Quaithe. It's that androgynous person that she was painting. That person decided to take up the mantle and everything. Anything else from season 2, episode 10? Busy episode.
What did you guys think of the whole Daenerys tower scene and all that magic garbage?
I was trying to come up with something clever. I watched the scene a couple times. I just sat down. I didn't want to read anything about it because I was just going to spout that. So I was like, what does it mean? I'm like, okay, she goes beyond the wall and sees Khal Drogo out there. So maybe it's like, ooh, she finds love beyond the wall. No, that's kind of a reach. She then finds the throne room and it's all snowy and the ceiling is broken. I don't know. I couldn't come up with anything. I just think it's confusing, and I think, honestly, it's just meant to throw us. I think whatever happens, you're going to be able to kind of wind back to. Yeah. But the only real, consistent thread I'm seeing is winter. Winter is coming. It's really kind of setting up that from the other side of things that, yes, this is right now beyond the wall where you're seeing all this stuff, and it's going to make its way all the way down to where you're trying to go anyway, but it's kind of dumb.
Yeah, I didn't quite get it at all, really. So I suppose I get that she sees Khal Drogo and her would have been son. But why is he why is he beyond the wall? I don't get it.
I guess it's symbolic of some sort, but I'm not that clever.
No, I'm not. If anyone, this is when we need Rob on here. Just
I know.
You could be like, actually, it's very obvious, you fucking idiot.
What was this? And you're like, oh yeah. No, I didn't get that, but you're
Get off our show.
I thought the scenery. I thought the scenery in the throne room with the walls broken in and the snow was really cool.
Looked good.
It. Yeah, it looked great.
It kind of reminds me of Aaron Hall with the destruction there, with all the open. Exposed everything after what the dragons did that. So I thought, if anything, you could make maybe that connection.
Aaron's Hall?
Aaron's Hall? It's like
Aaron's Hall?
Aaron's
Hall?
It's actually a sponsored hall. Aaron Carter's Hall. But anyway, yeah. Well, it's good to see. I guess one more shot at Khal Drogo. It was nice. I mean, good to see him again. He's talking.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, now we know, he's ultimately in the Nightlands now for good. I don't think we see Khal Drogo again. I can't remember. Yeah,
not thus far, at least.
Who knew the Nightlands was leagues under the sea and the biggest blockbuster of the summer or whatever time it came out.
It does get very dark at a point in that movie,
Yeah. I haven't seen it.
They're referring to.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, how deep do you have to go in the ocean before you lose all light?
I mean, they go to the center of the earth. Spoiler. So.
Oh shit!
Pretty fucking deep. It's actually, no, we're not gonna get into Aquaman here in this movie in this podcast.
Next episode when
we will get into our pastry, our last one for season 2. It's Jeremy's mini cranberry orange scone. Spill the beans.
Okay, so just like my mini blueberry scones, also from Fresh Time, which has become a thing lately. Delicious. Again, what is better than eating one when you can have 6 of them?
Oh my god! I just got a buzz on my phone. People are hitting up our Facebook page, as you should. We always post up when fresh episodes are up there.
We can answer scone questions.
Hey, we could. At Thrones and Scones, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can keep up with us there. ThronesandScones.com has your links to everything where you can listen, where you can check us out. And we will catch you tomorrow for a little bonus episode action as we get ridiculous and long form, and then back next week for season 3. Friends, thank you for joining me for another season. You're down with GOT!
Yeah, you know me.
Hansi, we're saying you flippity flopped here on Jack and Sirio theory.
Yeah, only just because of the whole Bravos connection and all that stuff. Because they make a point to say, my training or my dancing master was from Bravos or whatever, and then that's kind of how that all gets started. It doesn't take much for me to flip-flop, to be honest.
Yeah.
Pretty easily convinced.
I was so sold on it that I wanted to, it was actually yesterday, I wanted to read more about it because, like, I know people go crazy with these conspiracy theories.
Oh, yeah.
And so I Googled it to kind of see what the discussion was sitting at. And the first article that I popped up was Maisie Williams in an interview saying that she agreed with that theory, was talking to David Benioff and D.B. Weiss about it, and they shot it down. They said that it was not true. So at least in the show, unless they were lying, it is not a thing.
Yeah.
I think they're lying.
And what it seems like
too.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they show it? That's the like. Why wouldn't his head be on a pike? It just seems so plot holy.
Yeah, and maybe they were just leaving it open, and if it was something they were saving till later, which now I think it's a little late. We got higher priorities here, probably.
That's true.
But I think maybe when Maisie Williams said all that, if obviously if the directors were saving it, they probably wouldn't tell her, right? If it wasn't written yet, or wasn't.
It's true, but I mean, don't you just think they'd go like, "Oh, that's a fun idea," or something like?
I don't know.
Instead of just being like, "Oh no, that's not you, stupid girl."
You stupid girl. Actually, so I've been thinking about since we recorded our last episode. I've been really, speaking of conspiracy theories, I've been thinking a lot about the Hound and this corpse raping.
Okay, so I'm all ears.
My question is, in a big battle like this, he's pretty stern with his words. I believe him.
Yeah. Just to refresh people's minds in case it's been 24 hours since they heard that episode.
Yeah. So his quote is, "Any man dies without a clean sword, I'll rape his fucking corpse." Okay.
I don't get a lot of miscommunication there.
Yeah, no, I don't think a man says that unless they say it with intent. Yeah.
Deep inside.
But my question is, in this big massive battle, does he have has he got a clicker on him? I mean, is he taking notes? Because how is he going to remember every single guy that he's got to come back to the battlefield later to sort all this out? Because again, what if a guy's fighting? And where is the line? Because what if a guy's fighting, he never gets his sword bloody, and he dies right away, falls to the ground, someone else dies and gets blood on his sword.
Right. Is it literal or?
Yeah.
Whoa. Do we really think just drops of blood to fall on the sword would qualify? He clearly means killing. So my thing is, what if he is next to a guy who is an archer, and an archer shoots an arrow and kills someone, but never draws his sword? Does that guy get raped?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
I feel like the Hound doesn't like archers, and he would use any excuse to get after that.
Now.
To get after that anus.
That's a whole other conversation. What about axemen? Do we have to have a physical sword?
See, yeah, this is the problem when we touch on it literally.
Yeah.
But if we're not taking it literally, what he just means is, hey, you better be killing somebody before you go down. How's he keeping track?
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah, that's my biggest question is, how's he keeping track? Is he I feel like that would be so distracting. I mean, is he just that good of a fighter that he can just, he's counting, he's got to remember which guy he's got to go back to, got to find him later. You got to remember that face, It's not that a dead body, a mutilated dead corpse is going to look pretty similar to another mutilated dead corpse. So I mean, this dude has got to be taking notes or something, or maybe I'm guessing somehow he brings in Catelyn Stark at the end of the battle to do some Batman like detective work to give him a rundown of really what happened.
So there is our conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
So maybe he thinks Sansa is going to have that detective-like intuition, and he can be like, "Hey, if I cozy up next to her, I bring her into the fold. She can help me find all of these would-be lovers out here," and be like, "Yeah, let's do this."
Here's the other thing. Maybe the fire doesn't actually bother him, but he uses it as an excuse because he's out there for a couple minutes and he realizes, I cannot live up to the standard I have set for myself.
I got to get the hell out of here. Yeah, because my concern about halfway through the fight, he goes back in, he's drinking water, and then he goes, he said, or he asked for he asked to replenish his fluids, right? Gets the water and he says, "Fuck the water, I want the wine." And I was just thinking, man, you can't go to the wine yet. If he plans to keep true to his words, this dude needs to hydrate. He's got some work to be done. So I was a little concerned there, but then we find out he leaves and everything. So I'm not sure.
Where's the honor, right?
Yeah.
Where's the honor?
Where's the honor?
What is a man if he can't even keep his word? Is all I'm saying.
He's like, fuck the city, fuck the king. I'm thinking, man, hey, Joffrey.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't. I'm surprised at the end of that little speech. Fuck the city, fuck the king, fuck the king's guard, fuck the corpses.